So let's wait for it to install. Then Stella, are we at the same page? Hi, good morning, how are you? So let's wait for it to fully install. Hi Pauline, how are you doing? Hi Daisy.
Hi Justin, I'm fine, thank you. Hope you're fine too.
I'm good. So please open your projects and then activate the virtual environment and make sure they're running. Like from where we stopped, we're going to create a superuser. We've just been setting up the project with Arinda because she wasn't with us last time. But for your case, you don't actually need to repeat the process. You just have to open your project with Visual Studio Code and activate your virtual environment. Then you run Python manage the py run server. Make sure you're in position to get the other welcome screen of successfully installed Django on the browser. Pauline,
Justin,
yes.
you said this requires an internet connection, right?
Django, yeah, installing, yes.
I think that's why it's taking too long. My internet is
But actually, it was almost finishing.
I think we should start the class as it installs. Then
Okay. So after it installs, you have to start a Django project. Daisy and Pauline, have you opened your project?
I'm still opening mine. My PC is freezing.
Okay. What have you, Daisy? Ah, great. Did you try creating a spy user? Oh, so that's our next step, creating a spy user. So let me also open my project. That's the admin user in Django. So by default, they provide for you the admin section. Let me share my screen. Let me open our previous project, the one we worked on last time. So if you have a Django project set up already, you have a virtual environment, the next time you open a new project, you just activate your environment by typing full stop, then the environment name /bin/activate for Linux. Windows, you do the other way around, you do script/activate. When it's activated, you already see it in brackets.
Justin, the slash is a backward slash, right?
For
And script is a capital.
yes,
Windows.
for Windows, yes. So after activating, you don't need to install Django again because we already installed Django last time. If you want to know if Django is installed, if you want to be sure, you just type pip freeze and then you press enter. So that will show you whatever is installed in your virtual environment, and then when you look through, you can see Django 3.2 is installed, and the other things that were installed. When you install in Django, it comes with all these other dependencies, these ones. So that's why you're seeing them. But when you look through after typing pip freeze and you see Django somewhere, that means your environment contains Django, so you don't need to install Django again. So after being sure Django is installed, now you want to run our server. But remember, to run the server in Django, you have to use the command of python manage.py. And currently I'm inside Django Girls, and Django Girls doesn't have python manage.py anywhere. It only has a website and then my environment. So what I have to do is cd, like to open the folder website. I cd website, then you press enter. So it's like I'm trying to open this like this.
I can't see your screen.
Sorry?
I can't see your screen. I don't know if it's only me.
Oh. Sorry, let me share my screen. Are you seeing my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, let me just repeat everything. So I was saying that when you have a project set up already, all you have to do is open it with Visual Studio Code. You come and open your terminal like that. And the first thing you do is activate your virtual environment, because we already have it. We don't need to like create it again, unless if you're working on a new project. That means you have to create a new virtual environment. But since we have it, you just type full stop, then the environment name, then /bin/activate. On Windows, you use the script. When it's activated, you already see it in brackets. Then the command to check what dependencies are installed in your virtual environment is called pip freeze. So you just type pip freeze just to check, because later on when we design complex projects with so many things in, we might need to like install extra dependencies, like the one for handling our images, one for handling the forms, like different dependencies. So you need to actually know what's installed, because at some point they will always tell you that module is not found. That means you'll have to install it. So you always check by doing pip freeze. So after knowing we have Django, so our next step is run. But when you're running, you have to use the command python money.py run server. And currently, when you look at my path, it's just desktop, then Django online, then Django Girls.
Just a minute.
Sorry?
Just a minute. When I do script /activate, it tells me
Sorry?
the module script could not be loaded.
Oh.
It gives me an error that the module script could not be loaded.
You do scripts, eh? Is it capital S?
Yes.
And then it's plural scripts, eh?
With an S at the end.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So Windows, it has to be like this. If my environment is called my env, it has to be like this. You do the environment name, then this one, then scripts with capital.
Oh, I first start with my environment name.
Yes, then activate. Like this.
My okay.
Has it worked?
Just a minute /activate. Yes, now it's working.
Okay.
Thank you.
So when it's active, now it's time to run your Django project. All you have to do is, since manage.py is inside website, and on my path, manage.py is not inside Django Girls, because this is my mother folder, and it only has 2 folders inside. You can check that by doing ls on Windows. I don't know which command you use. I think it's dir to like check. But if you're using git bash like that terminal Arinda is using, you can also do ls. But what this does is just checks like what folders and files do you have inside a given folder, like list them. So I'll clear my screen, and then I just cd. Like when you want to open something in the terminal or a folder, you just change directory by doing cd. Then I want to open website. And remember, like website, we have the outer website and then the inner website, eh? And the inner website contains like our project files, but this one is just like a root folder for our Django project, and this can be anything. We can rename it to any other word you want. So you do cd once, because I realize some people do cd twice and then they end up getting errors. So make sure you're inside the first website. They have the same names, but make sure your path only like shows you you're inside maybe Django Girls /website, whatever your project name you called it, because maybe some of you called it Django project, some of you called it my site, some of you called it I don't know, but make sure the name matches what you called it here. after, you simply run python manage.py run server. Don't forget, run server is one word. Please don't separate the words. Yes, and our project is running. So the easiest thing to do, I would have like copied this, but I find it easy to just go to my browser, open any browser of my choice, and then type localhost 8000. So what I always do is simply come this side and then open the browser, type localhost, and then full colons and 8000, because that's the port. So you can tell like the port from here. If at all like you change the port, make sure you put in the exact port. So we're doing 8000 because localhost is simply means like 127.0.0.1 is the same as localhost. Then I just put the rest the way they are. Then colons and 8000. That's the port on which our Django project is running. That's the default one. So is everyone okay up to this point? Has it worked on your side as well?
Justin, kindly go back to your VS Code.
Okay.
Let me see.
Has it worked for you?
Yes, Justin, it's working.
Okay.
Thank you.
Arin, has it worked? Stella, has it worked? Oh, Daisy has just left. Okay. Stella and Arinda, has it worked for you?
No?
Not yet. Where are you stuck from?
From that terminal, I was wondering, am I supposed to use the badge or any other?
You use the one in
command?
Visual Studio Code.
Not yet.
Could you please share your screen?
Unfortunately, I'm using a phone.
Oh, you're using a phone, eh?
Yes, I was using a phone as I'm working on that in this badge.
Oh, okay. Maybe if it still like fails, I'll help you later on.
Yes, I was thinking that I'll maybe reach out to you later.
Okay. Arin, does it worked? Because actually, we stopped on when we're installing Django. So after installing Django, before you do anything, for your case, Arinda, you have to first start a Django project. So before you do Python manage.py run server, because you don't have it yet, so all you have to do is create a Django project by typing this command. But it's also a one-time command. You don't have to do it all the time. Now for Pauline and Daisy, you don't need to repeat this command because you already have it. So actually it has to be this side in Django girls. So Arinda, you just have to type Django admin, Django -admin, start project. I called mine website. You can call it anything. So the command starts from here and then it ends here.
Django what?
Django -dash. So we're actually following the Django girls tutorial. Let me show you. We're following their setup. So we skipped all these and then you just come to your first Django project. This is the command we're using. But for them they added this, but you don't need it. You just do Django -admin start project website, or you can actually get it from the Django website, the documentation itself for Django. This is the one. So you simply type this. I don't know if you're seeing my screen. So this is the command I'm talking about. Django admin start project. They called theirs my site. I called mine website. So this can be anything. So after doing that, you just cd now, like if you called it my site, you cd my site still, and then type my python manage.py run server. You type this command, but you make sure you're inside my site or website, wherever name you called it. When you want to go to your previous command, you just type, use the upper arrow. And this is what we see. When you go to your localhost 8000, when you open your project, you're going to see this by default. But now we're talking about creating the super user. So to create a super user, you always have to do /admin, because Django comes with a lot of files. So this is the outer project website, like our outer folder for our project. But then the inner website, the subfolder inside has so many files. And in these files, we have these ones for like settings, the settings file, the application specific settings for your project, then the web server specific configurations for your project. Then you also have the general settings for your file, just so you have settings on the phone. So even Django, your Django project can have settings. You can change the time, you can change the database, you can change the allowed hosts, you can add like the installed apps. Like we're going to look at this later on, and when we create an app in Django. We also have a look at how to change the database, but for now, like this database is okay because we don't have so many users. But when it comes to like projects that have so many users, you might have to scale your database and use a kind of bigger database than SQLite, because the default is SQLite. That's what Django provides by default, but you can always change. You can change the time, you can change the language code, you can change like now even the CSS, adding CSS to our projects if you are going to edit some settings. So we're going to be editing the settings file so much. Then we also have the URL. So by default, Django provides some default URLs. We're going to look at this. So that to access the admin section in your Django project, you have to go to your browser and type localhost 8000/admin. So the moment you type /admin, you're trying to access this site, the default admin. So let's try it. So you come this side and say /admin. The moment I type /admin, I'm seeing some error, but for your case you might see some nice looking box, but still the error is okay. We're going to rectify it. They're telling me no search table. So why I'm trying to access the admin section, yet I don't have, I want to create the admin user, but I don't have any tables in my database. And SQLite is a relational database management system. Like it works like in rows and columns. So their database looks like a table. So they're telling us you need to first of all create that table before you access the admin. Or before you create any users inside, they must be stored somewhere in the database. So you can't create a user without you having the tables in your database. So how do we feed our database with the tables? You simply write one command, and you just simply write, because there are so many tables it has by default. All the installed apps have their tables, but let's just run this command and then you see. So you simply type python manage.py migrate. So this command will help us create the tables, create the tables in our database, because they provide the database, but they even provide the initial setup for the tables, but they don't actually do the actual creation of the tables for you. So you have to always run this command to create the tables. That's why when you run okay, let me show you. When I just run python manage.py run server, these are the 18 unapplied migrations they are talking about. So you have to always migrate to create the actual tables. So you're creating the admin, the auth, the content, the sessions. So to do the migrations, they even give you the command. You simply have to write this command, python manage.py migrate. So let's all do that. You just simply Ctrl+C to stop your server and type python manage.py migrate. This will actually do the actual creation of the tables in the database. And when you press enter, you're going to see these many lines saying okay. So that means that the migrations are being applied successfully, and they have created for you all these tables in your database. They have created for you this table, this one, and this one. So after you run your server again, you do python manage.py run server, and when I reload now, instead of having the error, I see some beautiful screen here. So after creating my table, remember I don't have the data yet, so I still can't log in. Let me try putting in some details. Let me just put my name, then put in just any password, and try logging in. They'll give me an error, they'll give me a warning, or please enter the correct username and password for a staff account. Note that both fields may be case sensitive. So I can't access this site without me giving Django my details or my credentials. So before I go to the admin section, I have to create that. This is a super user I've been talking about, that super user, because Django provides the public site and then also the admin section. So to access the admin section, you must be you must have the staff account. And then how it works, that you can have so many people as having staff accounts. So you first create one to be the super user, then that super user gives rights to others. So you can create other users and make them admin, or you can remove those privileges from them and just leave them as normal users, not admin users. So let's create the super user. You simply come back this side and type python Remember, this can only be done if if after making the migrations. Python manage.py, create superuser. So you do it like this, and create superuser is one word still. So when I type create superuser, they will ask me for my username. If I don't provide the username and I just press enter, by default they will take the name on my computer. So it's grabbing this name here, right here. So when I want to change, I don't want to be called Justin, I want to be called admin. So that means I'm changing. If you don't like they provide like leave blank to use Justin, that means I've not left it blank. I'll be using admin as my username to log into the admin section. But you can call it any other name, you can use your name, it's still okay. Email, you can this field is optional, you can leave it blank. So I just press enter to leave it blank, but the password I can't leave it blank because I'll need a password to log in. So you have to type a password. You're not going to see it, but make sure you're typing in the right password, and the password you always remember because you always need to access the admin section. So I'll type in my password. You're not going to see it. I'm also not going to see it, but you must create like you must put in the right password. Just like when you're working with Git and GitHub, you never see your password, but you must type the right password. So let me type a password. Then they ask me to do it again. They're telling me the password I'm using is too common, but it's okay. Let me use this common password. So to bypass the weak password or the common password, you press Y. You see, bypass password validation and create superuser anyway. So I'll just use my common password. But if at all you want to change, you just simply say no and then I change. But I wanted to like use that password. I don't want to change it. So you must get superuser created successfully. So now this means you have a superuser. So you must always provide the name and then a password. Then when you leave the name blank, they will take the default name on your computer. So after you just come back and run, make sure you're always running your server. After every change, every time you make changes, you must run your server again. So to run the server, you just do python manage.py run server, and you realize I'm no longer seeing these red lines, the unapplied migrations. Why? Because we did the migrations. I'm no longer seeing these ones. So I'm only seeing the started server and my port and the Django version I'm using. That's all I'm seeing. So now I can go back to my admin section and log in. So when I come back this side and reload, remember I didn't use Justin. Let me try using a wrong name and then put in the password. But remember I didn't use Justin. So they will still give me the same error. Why? Because I don't have a username called Justin, and my superuser is not called Justin. So you can't provide wrong details. My superuser is called admin, then my password, let me type the password. So make sure you type in the right password. When I press enter with the right details, they take me to the admin section. So this is how the admin section looks like in Django. So I can add many users. I can come here and add another user. I can add like as many users as I want, and then you also give them the rights. But you like a bit here they'll tell you your password can't be too similar like to your other personal information. Your password must contain at least 8 characters. Your password can't be a commonly used password. Your password can't be entirely numeric. So these ones like they're very like they emphasize them a lot, and then your password must follow all these. The moment you miss out on any step, they always tell you to like, actually it won't do anything, but your user won't be created. So make sure you put in the right passwords. So let me try Lala. I'll put in a user called Lala, then I'll create a password for her. So they told me like the user Lala has been created successfully, and you see like I can only see the username Lala, but you see the password, how they store the password. So this is how secure Django is when it comes to encrypting people's information. So at least no one can remember a password that looks like this. There is generate long characters and save them to be like placeholders for your password. So I can add other information like about Lala. I can make them super users. I can make them staff. I can do anything I want. I can add them to different groups. Yeah. So any questions about how to create the super user? Okay. So after creating the super user, we want to create a, yes?
Sorry to disturb. I've followed through and created the password and all that, but I think I missed out when you got. How did you get the table?
How
I think
do
that's the part I've missed.
how to get the table? Which table?
This one, the one I'm looking at, and the first one that you had. Yes. Because when I run Python manage.pi run server, I still get the other first
The red line.
screen. No,
What do you get?
from localhost 8000, I still get that first screen that you get, that the install works successfully.
Oh.
Congratulations.
Okay. You do /admin, eh? Are you seeing my URL here?
Yes.
You do localhost 8000 /admin, then you press enter.
Admin. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Have you seen the login form?
Yes.
Wait, then you try logging in with the exact details, eh? The ones you've just created for the super user.
Yeah, it logs in.
Okay, are you seeing the admin section? So you can add some other users, eh? Currently, I've added a user called Lala. When I click on users, I have the admin and then I have Lala. But Lala doesn't have the status tab. If I want to give her the rights, I have to come back on Lala and then give her this. Then I save. If I also want to make her the super user, I have to check that as well, then come and save. Whatever you do, you save. So you see now they have the same rights. They are all checked in green.
Yeah, that's status. Okay.
So after creating the super user, you want to like start an app. So remember, like trying to achieve the Django Girls blog. So you come to like after creating your first project. At least we're done with letera cow, mchele, matoke, ni cow. So after creating the space, I want to like create now our app in Django. So you can always follow this tutorial for Django Girls. It has so many things, just like explanations. So here they're talking about the module, and this is very, very important before even create our app in Django. So we're going to be editing the Django modules. So what happens in Django modules? We're going to be creating our databases like from the modules. So everything that you want in your application, it has to be stored somewhere, because Django follows the model view, and then I don't know if you've had a model view controller pattern, but Django follows MVT, that's model view then templates. So whatever you're doing, whatever users you have on your application, whatever apps, like whatever data you want to store, it has to be modeled somewhere. Like you have to like create a database for it. Then after like the views, those are like the functions that give you the logic. Okay, how do I know that someone is logging in? How do I create a function that logs in a user? And how do I check like the passwords and see if they match? So you're going to put all that information in the views. Those are going to be like the functions that actually do the actual execution of whatever you want it to do. And then the templates, that's the T for MVT. Those are the HTML. What do you want the user to see like on your screen? Like when they type localhost 8000, do you just want them to see this screen, or you want them to see something? So those are templates. Basically HTML, CSS, you're going to be looking at the templates. Because remember, like whatever you're doing, the browser understands HTML and CSS. So you're going to like look at how to fetch data from the database and display it on the screen through that pattern of it goes to the models, checks out for that user, or grabs that post and then puts it on the display like on your screen. And then you're also going to be feeding that data, like you do the actual creation of posts on your, like you just come to like create post, and then you feed in that data, and then the post is stored somewhere, and then they are fetched. So you're going to look at that process in Django, how it's done. But you're going to do it step by step. So you're going to look at the models. So let's just simply go through this. We want to create, hope everyone's seeing my screen, the one that says Django models, this one.
Yes, we can.
Okay. We want to create now, what we want to create now is something that we will store all the posts in our blog. But to be able to do that, we need to talk a little bit more about things called objects. I think you discussed objects with Eric in JavaScript. So objects in Python are no difference. They kind of work in the same way. This is how you're going to model real life things into the code. So you look at a cat, or you look at a car, and then model it in a way that fits like in code. So you're just going to look at the properties. Let's say for the cat now, okay, let me just read. There's a concept in programming called object-oriented programming. The idea is that instead of writing everything as a boring sequence of programming instructions, you can model things and define how they interact with each other. So what's an object? It's a collection of properties and actions. It sounds weird, but we'll give you an example. If you want to model a cat, we'll create an object called cat. That has some properties like color, age, mood, in bracket like good, bad, or sleepy, and the owner, which could be assigned to a person object, or maybe in case of a stray cat, this property can be empty. Then the cat has some actions like pour, scratch, or feed, in which case we'll give that cat some cat food, which could be a separate object with properties like taste. So objects work in this kind of way. Like let's say you're working on a system for like a student. You know, for every student, you must have their name, you must have their contact, you must have maybe their parents' details, you must know their gender. So you know, like you're going to have one class or one object called student, but this will actually like work for a million students because they have different values. Like Pauline is not the same as Daisy, it's not the same as Arinda, and then it's not the same as Mariam. So they have the same properties, that's name, but the names vary from one person to another. So that's how objects work. You have a cat, but these cats are not the same. They have different properties. Okay, they all have color, but they're not all are black. Some are white, some have mixed colors, some are older than the others. So that's how objects work. And actually, you can always relate them to different other objects. Now like every cat has like their own. So if at all like you having users, they must be they must be like belonging somewhere. If the cat doesn't have any owner, you just leave that field blank. So you just don't. Maybe if it's a wild cat, that means it doesn't have any owner, so that can be left blank. So you can be leaving some fields blank, and then others you must like be strict, and they shouldn't be left blank. So basically the idea is to describe real things in code with properties, code object properties, and actions, code methods. How will we model blog posts? We want to view the blog, right? We need to answer the question, what's a blog? What properties should it have? Well, for sure our blog needs to have some text with its content and the title, right? It could be also nice to know who wrote it. So we need an author. Finally, we want to know when the post was created and published. So before you actually you model anything, or before you create anything, you must at least answer all these questions. Even if someone asks you like to work on a system, you must actually like fully engage them and ask them what do they want on the system. Okay, I want an e-learning system. What should it be doing? Should it just store the students' details? Should it have some courses? How does someone enroll? So you're going to like have those different modules. If it's a course, you have a module for courses, like the different courses. If it's users or maybe students, you have a module like and an app for like students. If it's the parents, you want to like have an app and a module for parents, and then you just relate them. So for every learner, they attach their details to the parents. So now like an example of a blog, like after defining what properties, what features, what characteristics does a blog have. So after defining them, you just now model it into this. You're going to have a class called post, then you have all these fields. Now these are the columns that are going to be created in the database section. You're going to have a column for title, you're going to have a column for text, you're going to have a column for author, you're going to have a column for create date, and then the publish date. By the way, these fields, some of them are optional, so you can get rid of them, or like you can have them, all of them, or you can do a few and then leave out the others. They're not compulsory because these models are going to be different. If they won't be uniform all the time, so maybe for you you're just storing people's contacts, like a person, like you have a class called person, you just store their name, their phone number, and their hobbies. That's enough. And so you might find some other people like want to collect information. They want to know the person's name, their place of residence, their hobbies, their gender, their age. So these models will always vary depending on what you want. Okay. So knowing that an object is, you can create a Django model for our blog post. A model in Django is a special kind of object. It's saved in the database. A database is a collection of data. This is a place in which you store information about users. Your blog post etc. We'll be using a SQLite database to store our data. This is the default Django database adapter. It will be enough for us right now. You can think of a model in a database as a spreadsheet with columns and rows. Exactly. So SQLite stores data in that way, like rows and columns, just like in Excel. You have the columns and then you have the rows. So when you create a model that looks like this, that means you're going to have these columns. Then the rows will be endless, because for every post, like that will be a row. If I post if I create a blog like my first blog, you create the second blog, another person creates the third one. Now those rows will be like that information will be put in different rows, even if there are million rows. But the columns will always stay like this. For every blog, it must have a title, text, author, then the create date, and maybe the publish date. So we're going to be using SQLite to know which database we're using, but later on we shall change to make another database, maybe Postgres. But the database we're going to be using is this one. You can tell which database you're going to be using from here. Database, you see? The engine is django.db.backend.SQLite. So when you change to a different database, you can even have a database online. So you just change this engine, because Django allows you to it's very, very flexible. You can remove whatever you don't want and just leave what you want, and you can fully customize it to what you want. So after knowing the models and everything, now it's time to create the actual application, because our models are going to sit in the app. So what we have is a Django project, but we need to create a Django application or a Django app. So to keep things tidy, we'll create a separate application inside our project. It's very nice to have everything organized from the very beginning. To create an application, we need to run the following command. So this is the command for creating an app in Django. So you simply type python manage.py start app, call it blog. But this can be anything. It can be students, it can be users, it can be cards, it can be whatever you want. But the command is python manage.py start app. So I'm going to do that. So you have to come here and then stop your server. Type python manage.py start app is one word, start app. Then the name of the application, let's call it blog, because I want you people to follow that Django girl story after. So when you create an application called blog, you look at your files on the side. So you have a blog app created for you automatically here. So you have the blog, and it comes with all these files. You have the admin.py, apps.py, models.py, tests.py, things.py. We shall edit these files and then put in the different details. But actually, because actually this is our app now, and this is our project. This is our project. Our project only has this. It has settings, it has URLs, it has WSPI, then Twitter. Then our app is called blog, and it has all these files. So when we run the server, nothing is going to happen. So what you have to do is come back here and then add in some content. Are you seeing models.py? So we want to add the actual model, like the way it appears here. So after creating your app, you must have this layout. Yes, and I guess we have in the same. So since ours is called website, so instead of having my site here, for you have website or whatever name you call to your project, then your virtual environment will still stay, and then this is our app called blog. So this is the same layout they are talking about. If you're to make these ones wide, this is the layout they are talking about, this one. So they even give you like how to change these settings. We shall change these ones later, because you need to make Django aware of the installed apps. So wherever app you install, okay, let's do this before you forget. You can simply call it like this, because I guess for them they got the name from here, but you can simply, after installing your app, make sure you make Django aware of the installed app, because at some point they have to always connect. So you have to come back to your settings. I told you you're going to be editing the settings file often. So you have to come back this side, look for installed apps. This is an array. Oh, okay, it's a list in Python. In JavaScript, you call them arrays. So you simply have to come back here, but they work in the same way, and then you create a string called blog. Then since it's array values are separated by commas, and we might have multiple apps in the application. So you put a comma, just not to forget. But for the last item, even if you don't put a comma, it will still work. So that will actually make Django aware of that installed app called blog. So after that, what's the next step is to actually create the actual model. So what I'm going to do, like you have to go to blog models. So blog models.py, we'll define all our objects called okay. In the blog/models.py file, we define all objects called models. This is a place in which we define our blog post. Let's open models.py. So you have to come, make sure you inside like blog, like you come here, blog, open it, come here and look for a file called models.py. These files were created for you automatically when you did start up Python models.py start up blog. It came along with all these files. So all you have to do is you come here and copy the things one by one. So I can simply like just come, let me just copy and paste to save time. So, but you can find all this code on Django Girls blog, or you can actually write like one line by line. But one thing you should be careful is whatever like is going to be used. Let me first copy and let me show you. So inside models, I'm just going to paste. Okay, let me even leave a comment and just paste it there. So this one I already have it. You can even see like tell some things are similar from Django.db. They are important. Like some of the things come with Django. When you install Django, it comes with all these things. So you don't have to like worry about how to get them. You just have to know which commands you have to like write to call them. Then this is how a class is written in. This is how they write a class in Python. You write a class called host. This can be any other name. If I told you want yours is called student, you call it student. If I told you it's called user, you call it user. And then it's going to get models, the one you like imported from here, models to the model. Then author, these are now the actual database fields. So they're just variables. You just come here and set a variable, this to be models to foreign key. So this one they're trying to set the author like to the default logged in user. So Django has like can get users from here. So you just go to settings. These are keywords in Django. They're supposed to be written like this. So please don't change the spellings, don't change anything. These are keywords. And then it's a foreign key. We can look at foreign keys and primary keys later on. Then we have a variable called title. It's a character field. You want to like type in something. Then the text or the body is a text field. Then the create date, and then the setting the default. If you don't set the date, let it take the current time, like the default time on your computer. Then the publish date, we don't need to even leave this. I can even remove this. Let's stick to the create date. So I can simplify it. Then this str is just like formatting our content. You're going to see it on the admin, so it will always carry the title on the admin section. If at all you wanted to return the title, the text, we could also do that. But I'm going to show you where this is fetched from. Okay, after doing that, after adding like feeding your model with all this content, you come and make migrations now. Because when I try running Python -py run server, okay, let me make migrations. After adding like updating your models file, this one you have to make Django aware of what changes you've made. So before you actually create that table code post in the database, you first have to make migrations. Then you press enter. So when you make migrations, actually it creates for you like a file called initial.py and it names it 001. So when you come to migrations and then you click on that file, it's actually like created for your database with all these fields. You have an ID for your post, you have a title. This is actually automatically, even if you don't put the ID, it will always come. This is like a unique identifier for whatever post you put in, just like your name or the national ID. Wherever they want to look for you, they always look get your name. So Nira, that's how it knows you. They might not know you by name or by the title of the post, but they have your ID, they have your name. So the ID works in that kind of way. So we have the title, then we have the text, we have the click date, then we have the author. So these are the fields in the database. And this is a text field, it's a character field. You can have like number field, you can have different kinds of fields. You can have choices, different things. We shall look at the details later on. So after making the migrations, now we have to do the actual create the actual table. This just does this for because actually I'm thinking when we saw Django, the migrations was done for us. That's why we just did migrate. But now when I try running server, you see, this warning comes back. You have one unapplied migration. Your project might not work properly until you apply the migration for the app or apps. You might have so many apps. So for whatever app you make and then you make changes to your models, you have to migrate to do the actual creation, because I can't create posts right now. I can't create any posts before creating the actual table. So let's do migrate. They even tell you the command to run. So let's run Python manage.py migrate, and I press enter. So it will still do this for me. And you see, on top of admin, or they have added blog. The first migrate they did things were so many, because they are all creating all these other tables. But now they have added blog. If you add another app code that may be user, they will always create for you. They will add it here. So now that they have added our app code blog, we can run our server again. So when I run my server, nothing is going to show. But even when I do /admin, nothing is going to show. But at least I want us to see our blog, and then be in position to add the blog at least from this side before we look at the actual creation of the form on the front end to fetch the post set. So to do that, you register your model with the admin. How do you do that? You simply come back this side. Let me close this. So after creating this model, it's okay. You come to the admin. See, our blog came with a lot of files. It has admin, apps, models, test views. So you simply come this side to the admin, and then you import. So you just do. We want to register our post on the admin side. We want to be in position to do the post this side here on this section. This side. So what we do, you come back to your code and then open admin.py and say from let me say full stop, because it's from blog.models. You just simply say this, import, posts. Make sure you do it exactly like this. Why? Because when I try importing posts, let me show you when I try even changing the casing here, I'll get an error. Cannot import name posts from blog.models. Yes, so whatever you do with Django is actually aware and very, very intelligent. It goes through all these files very, very quickly. So what this does, it goes to the files, the file called models.py, then looks out for blog. So if at all you trick it when a blog is not there, it always show this error. But if blog is there, you just come and then you won't see any mistakes. So you have to come here and make it capital PY, because here our post is called capital P. So after doing this, now it's time for me to register it on the admin section. To do that, they already imported admin for me, so I'll just say admin .site.register, then bracket, you just put post like this, and that's all you need to register it on the admin side. So now when I come back on my browser, and reload, I have my blog register here, and it has posts. That's the model. Like if I have another class called maybe users, I would have it. So I can even come here and add a post. So that's how we're going to different in the different modules. To add another module, you can come back beside and add another one. You add another class. So I can have class. Let me call it user. So be very, very careful with the casing. So I can simply have name. So you simply create a variable name equals, I want a character field, and I want the maximum length. To be 100. So I can have a simple like model like that one. So I'll create a function because I want the name to be returned on the admin side. So I'll create a function and then say str, then text in self. Self is like this keyword in JavaScript. Then return self.name. So after making like whatever, like this is what I was talking about, whatever changes you make to the modules, oh, it's something about the characters. I had to come and do modules. So I was telling you, whatever changes you make to your modules, you have to come and then make migrations. Before you migrate, whatever changes you have to make migrations. You see now I have another table created called user in my database, and it's called 002 user.py. So you come this side and you see it only has the name field, and then this is the ID is automatically created from even if I don't include ID. So it will always have an ID. So now let's migrate. So you simply come back and then run python manual.py migrate. So I have another table I created for me. Then now when I come back and I want to also register this in the admin side. So from the modules, import the post and also import user. So I'll copy this and paste the same thing, admin.site.register, but instead of post, I want to register user like this. So when I run my server again, python manual.py run server, and I reload. You see now I have like under blog, I have users and I have posts. To add a user, I'm just going to add the username field. Let me say Pauline. Then save. So I have a user called Pauline. But when it comes to post, there's so many fields. So I have the author. So they asked me to select, is it Lala, is it admin? So I'll select Lala. Then my first post. Page Django. Then the create date, it actually takes the right date on my computer, but the time it's like, because I didn't change the time zone in the settings, so it just takes this. If at all you want the current time, you have to go back to the settings and change the time zone. But okay, let me just take this, then save. So I can be in position to create a post. When I come to posts, I have this. When I come to users, I also have one user. So that's how you're going to be like creating different models and registering them on the admin side. Then different apps. So our app is called blog. You can have another app called something else. So any questions? Any questions? Today's session has taken longer than expected. So any questions so far? Yes.
Sorry, I didn't do it.
It's okay.
So any different adding, you have to go and register them.
Sorry?
Code.
When you are?
Let's go back to the code.
Oh, okay.
Your
Visual Studio Code, beside?
yes. Yes. So any change you add in the models.py, are they classes?
Yes.
You have to go and register it in the admin.
Yes, actually you registered it in the admin. If at all you want to see it in the admin section, but you can choose to comment this out. Like when I just comment this one out, that means it will no longer be shown on the admin side. They only show the poster. So if it's not registered, it will never show on the admin section. So when I come back and reload, because I commented it out, it can't show. So if I also don't want the post to show, I just come comment it out from admin.py. But
Okay, so that okay, let's go ahead.
okay. So like for every model you create, make sure you make migrations and migrate. That's actually when it creates the actual fields. If at all you forget to make migrations and migrate, you won't be in position to add the users from this side. Like when you come here and say add, they will tell you like you can't find a form like that looks like this one. Why? Because the actual tables are not there. And actually these fields are varied. Now like this one is a character field and this one is a text field. You see the difference? This one is bigger.
With another question, you did talk about views.
Views,
Actually,
I wanted to talk about views, but I guess we shall do that on Friday. Views are the ones like the actual functions you have to run. Now, like when we come back to our default page, this one, we just see this welcome screen. But on real applications, you never see this screen. You see something like welcome on my side. This is this and this, because very few people access the admin. Only the owners of the application can access the admin. So in the views, that's where you're going to be rendering our maybe our posts dynamically from the database. Whatever data is in the database, we're going to display it what we want our viewers to see. So you're going to be creating those functions from the views.py.
Thank you.
Yes, but I guess we shall do that on Friday, because we have to still edit around 3 files, and I want you to first at least master up to this step. You create the super user, you create the model, you make migrations. Yeah. Then now when you're done, then that's when you shall look at the views now on Friday. How do you actually get to see maybe hello world, hello Django, display some nice images, or generate the post dynamically. Now instead of us having to go to the admin all the time to add posts, we shall have to maybe you just say create post. When you go to /create, you're in position to see a form, and then you just create it on this side. Then now the admin side section will be updated automatically. So you want to be in position to look at that, but that will be on Friday. So for today, please make sure you master these ones. Know how to activate the virtual environment, know how to install Django, know how to create an app, know how to add models, know how to make migrations. and registering the models in the admin section. If at all you've done all that, you can actually read ahead and look at how to add views. How do you display HTML in Django, because that will be our next session on Friday, displaying HTML and writing actual view functions. Any other questions? Okay, so if there are no questions, see you on Friday. Please practice. Please practice. You can actually continue with the Django Girls tutorial. Like, you just go to Django Girls, then I look through. I've been using the same things. So see you on Friday. So I'll share the link to the recorded session.